Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Deaths, back with another Kamihime project video. This one is going to be about the Pazuzu reprint, but before I go into that, something I gotta show that's kind of interesting about the Japanese side on DMM, because DMM has two sides. First off, I have to mention that there's a Japanese side which is far ahead of everybody else, and then there's a global side which is at the same point as us on Nutaku. So I have to clarify that, because I've seen something before where somebody got confused. So, but they've recently gotten an event where they fought the fire catastrophe, and lo and behold, the water catastrophe is a new a new summonable Eidolon that they have from their gacha. So that means that you can actually get an SSR Eidolon of the catastrophes at some point. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But it seems like that side is going through quite a few characters that people wanted to have scenes, but they never ended up getting it. I think one of them was that was Cert, which was an SR Eidolon. She's had an event before too, so it seems like they're giving them a little bit more emphasis. And boy, does this one have it, because this is meta breaking what she has. Now, going down a little bit further, she's a water damage limit increase, so your exceed, your elaborate, your technical, all that's going up by 10%. It says 180 seconds or 3 turns. I don't know what it is, to be quite honest. It could be both, it could be one or the other. But as far as I know, that alone is already pretty good, because even though you may have an exceed, having access to elaborate and technical is kind of tricky on top of that. But her stats are also really, really strong. 600 HP and 3000 attack. Only the Kaisers and the Divine Beasts, which are the Chinese mythology Eidolons like Bayaka and them, only they seem to have more attack power. As far as it goes to HP, there's quite a few Eidolons that have more HP, but that's still a lot. Here's the biggest thing about her. Like the Guardians, she should be upping your water effect skill weapons. It says it's just Aqua, but I'm not sure if it's going to go past Aqua, where it does stuff like Glaciate, Blizzard, stuff like that. But it says extra large, and to compare, the Guardians go up to large, which is 40%. Extra large is probably at least 50%. And if that's not enough, character attack goes up by 100%. That means 100% more assault when you max her out. It seems like it won't increase the weapon skill boost, but it will indeed increase the free assault she gives. So she's going to be very powerful, and there's bound to be others just like her. Because by the looks of things, they're probably going to do it with all the catastrophes and have them all have the same setup. I just won't know what the summon effects are. But yeah, look forward to that. That's going on later down the line. That's assuming the Nutaku and the global side for DMM actually lasts that long, but as much as I keep saying it in that video, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to close down. It just means that there's still always a chance we may not reach where DMM hit, because that's a thing with Nutaku games. So there's that. There's been a few cases where a Nutaku game has actually outlasted the DMM version, so it's not like it's impossible. It's just, it's more of a case of just keep your eye out. But getting into what we really came here for, because that took a little bit longer than I wanted to. The Pazuzu event. And honestly, this is just a joke from me, but I call her Pazuzu because of the fact that, well, you already see from the image. But, she's a wind event, so fire is going to have the advantage. And she's an advent, so you're on your own. That means you won't be able to summon other people for help or anything like that. And if you're facing her on Ragnarok, you get 1 elixir and that's it. So keep that in mind. But I don't really remember how good her weapons are, so we're going to go over that again. But off the top of my head, you can get gacha tickets to get past raid Kamihime. What that means is from raid events, there is many different Kamihime they gave us for free. If you missed out, that's your chance of getting some of them. At least the ones that the Epic Quest doesn't give you, because the Epic Quests are based off of that. But as far as it goes, that's your chance of getting those. There's normal gacha tickets here, but there's not that many. There's a Kamihime weapon gacha ticket. They're just there, basically. If you're looking for free pulls, you're mainly going for the magic jewels, because there's up to 3,000 of those. But you definitely still want to get all the copies of that Adolin so you can at least sell her for orbs if you don't plan on keeping her. And maybe the low rate SSR weapon, because of the simple fact that even if you don't plan on keeping it, it's still pretty good fodder. Because of the simple fact that SSR weapons do give a lot of skill EXP. We recently had a Zahak raid, and I didn't keep any of those weapons, but those things gave me a crap ton of weapon experience, and I needed that for my Medea weapon because it went up to skill level 30. But there's grimoires, there's soul points, there's quite a lot of stuff to grind for. But anyways, let's go into what you have to do for the fights itself. So keep this one thing in mind with the drops. I'm not going to really go over the list, but I'll just leave it here. Pause the video right now if you're interested. But this is practically everything that's dropped from all the stuff. Now that I've given time for that, there's also the different statuses or anything. Honestly, I'm not going to slow down for these, like literally stop for these, but this is what you're dealing with for the other difficulties. Quite frankly, you really shouldn't have an issue with normal or with standard or beginner. Expert, newer players may struggle a bit, but you'll still soon get quick enough to beat that. But you're dealing with 600,000 HP. She's got force double attack, regardless of difficulty, so keep that in mind. So when her orbs are full, she will do wind damage to everybody and has 3% poison for 5 turns, a 5% darkness for all enemies and allies. That means blind, which means she could probably blind herself, but who knows. And then it says enragement for the raging one, and it's going to randomly hit you 3 times, but enragements I think burn, and that's a 10%, so be very careful because you're going to lose up to half your HP. Now for the special behaviors, she'll do a wind damage to one enemy. I'm guessing it's just a wind nuke, but there's a chance of it happening during a normal attack, so she doesn't double tap you. That's probably what you're getting. Now it gets a little bit worse with the ultimate fight, because the ultimate fight, her HP is now double. The poison can now take up to 4,500 per turn, or 3%, whichever is hit, and it lasts for 8 turns. That's a lot of damage. Quite frankly, that's very dangerous. Along with the whole it says engagement or enragement. It's really a flame prison or something like a burn, and that's pretty much going to be 5,250 now. It hasn't changed on the other mechanics, so it's still up to 12% of your health or that number, and it's still 5 turns. Both of them can start taking out your HP very, very quickly. For comparison, if there is some way for me to actually make that fight last that long, and I'm hit with that, I would still lose almost all my HP just from the Flame Prison one, from Raging. Because my HP is somewhere in the mark about 26,000 to 28,000. I would still lose most of that. And I'd pretty much be guaranteed to lose it all if I get hit with the normal one and just let it go through. So that's something to pay attention to, guys. You have to get those effects off you or just avoid them altogether. At this point, the normal modes is actually starting to get a little bit more dangerous than the Raging. But it's still the same stuff for everything else, basically. And I'm not going to repeat it for Ragnarok, but you're dealing with 3 million HP then. That's actually quite a bit of HP. So there's that. But anyways, their main suggestion is definitely somebody to remove the debuffing off you. And if she doesn't do her normal trigger, of course you're getting double attacked all the time. She is heavy on the debuffs and the DOT, so you're going to want to be able to remove that or resist it. That's a given. Now, for those of you that do happen to have Kieran, if you don't mind putting her in your sub slot, she can flat out block them. If you happen to have Anubis, she's got a resistance towards it as well by calling her out. But other tricks to use, Vivian has a cleanse ability called Maiden's Prayer, and quite frankly, if you slap that on Hercules, it's usable every 3 turns, so you should be able to keep up with the debuffs pretty well just off of that alone. There's soul weapons for the healers where you can just remove that while healing. There's characters like Soul who can sip and remove it while healing others. There's probably some water characters that can do it too. Far as I know, fire does have them, but they're like scattered and quite a few of them are limited off the top of my head. But there's not too many SSR that really have cleanse type effects for fire. As far as I know, there's a limited one that can zip and do something against that, and that would be Fire Artemis if you happen to have her. But as far as it goes, fire is more based on dealing out tons of damage, but currently does not have that much healing or defense, so you're pretty much just a damage race with them. If you don't use fire, you can probably get some good cleanse in there, or if you really want, go out your way to get a healer and just have that at the ready. You don't even need to do a healer for some of that too. You can put Maiden's Prayer on anybody. It's 4 turns cooldown. It's 3 turns with her, so. And then on top of that too, you do want to try and blind her for sure. That will make sure that a lot of her normal stuff won't even do anything. So she's one of the rare cases of a wind enemy that won't be that resistant. So keep that in mind. If you ask me, some of her weapons look cool in design. It's just that I don't know what they do. So we're about to find that out right now. So I'm already seeing something pretty interesting for this stuff right here. When you summon her, she can cause blind. I don't know how strong it is, but that's a thing. Now, if you remember the 140% Eidolons, or I even mentioned Anubis, also Monogarmer, their main effect, you have to element match on your sub slots in order to get the most effect out of them. So, say you have Anubis, you need to get your sub slots to dark, all your sub slots to dark Eidolons in order to make Anubis give more of a main effect. Same case with Pazuzu. She's one of those 50% event Eidolons that do that. And later on, there's going to be a 55% one too. That's Phantom Element. So get used to element matching, because element matching for your Eidolons is very, very good, because it will get you the most out of the better elemental ones, and then on top of that, it's also a stat increase. So it's very recommended to have Pazuzu and do that. Or if you manage to get them, Hanuman, or I don't know how to pronounce Jerez's name, but yeah. But it's the same case with all of them. Element match, you get the most effect out of it. As for the weapons, both of them could have some use, but necessarily you don't need the gun. The spear might actually be worth keeping though. And basically what the spear is assault plus ascension. And I have to clear this one thing up with ascension because a lot of people don't tend to know about this. The way healing works in this game, there's a cap and then there's a base amount. The base amount is always based off a percentage of your HP. So if you do not hit the cap, you're getting that percentage. For example, little do people know, soul heals I think about 30% of your HP, or 33%, somewhere around that mark, provided you do not hit the cap. But the caps are usually pretty low for healing. There's been a few recently that's gotten some pretty high caps, especially if you got the 4th tier soul, Asclepius or something like that. She's an S rank soul that's got some very strong healing and some pretty high caps. Well, Ascension's about to raise that up a little bit more. So it's a flat amount and a cap. And I think the flat amount would even work on characters that do not have caps. So for instance, if I'm right about that, you can get an Ascension cap increase of like, say 27%, and then the heal amount would be like 4%. Well, I think that 4% heal amount would still work on somebody like Light Nodens, where her heal is an AoE 50% regardless of what your HP is. It's like 50% of your max HP. There's no cap on it. I think Ascension would still increase the base heal by another 4%. So it's now 54% of it. That's basically how Ascension works. But this weapon is definitely worth it, because when you final break it, it is a large assault, and that is very, very helpful, and it comes with a second skill that's actually pretty useful. Ascension isn't a must-have skill, because there's definitely ways around it, especially with Wind, because they have some pretty good tanking characters. But it's still welcome, because the more healing you get, the less often you have to keep up on HP. And as far as it goes with the gun, Large Pride is actually quite useful, but at the same time, it's not necessary to have this gun. If you want to go out your way and grind it, be my guest, but you'll probably replace it, especially if you happen to get a Guardian weapon from the Wind Guardian Bethor. She's got Large Pride and Small Pride and Small Defender all in her glaive, which is pretty much this gun on steroids. So, that said, you probably don't need the gun. You can probably get other stuff that's far better. But if you don't mind grinding out for it, it's still worth using until you get better stuff. But single skill SSR is starting to come off the map now. And I'm not so sure how good Wind is with a gun grid either. They definitely should have a decent spear grid if you can get it out there, because there's been quite a few gotcha spears that seem at least good or even flat out worth it. As far as it goes, they can get a decent hammer grid, especially if you got past event weapons from somebody like, say, Garuda, and she even hands one out in the Epic Quest. So the SR hammer might be a good placeholder. Other than that, I wouldn't really go for it. And don't worry about anything else, basically, because the magic tool is just not worth. And then, of course, they let you trade for weapon and Nadone enhancement materials. Don't do that. You can grind for those. There's SP quests that easily give you those. But the last thing to go over, it's the same usual stuff for the event missions. You pretty much clear with a certain rarity of characters. If you really want to ensure that you do everything period point blank, have all your Kamihime, including sub-slots, be our Kamihime. And just go through Expert and Ultimate like that. Bonus points if you're doing it with Darkness, because you'll clear the Ultimate one as well. Because that's what I tend to do in a lot of videos. I'll send the Elemental team with our Kamihime into Ultimate and just get all of those missions all at once. And naturally, you have to clear some of these quests without using an elixir. So, if you're strong enough, that should be no problem. But anyways, that's all for this, guys. More of this is going to come soon because, of course, I'm going to do videos of me clearing the elemental teams. I don't really want to do a video of the Ragnarok fight because, quite frankly, everybody should know how strong my light team is at this point if you've seen any of my videos. So, if you've seen any recent video, including a few I'm going to upload along with this, yeah, you already know what's going to happen with the Ragnarok fight. So, I don't feel obligated to record that anymore. I can indeed one-turn that fight, period, point blank, probably even without bursts. So, and now that I got Medea, that's practically guaranteed. She could probably solo the fight herself. So, that said, I don't feel obligated to clear Ragnarok on camera for you guys, so sorry about that. Honestly, if anybody's quite interested in seeing that type of stuff, I've done it with past events. And just know that I'm stronger now, so that's all you need to see, basically. But other than that, that's all I really could do. Also, if you guys are wondering why I stopped doing music in these type of videos, it's because that now that I can monetize my videos, there's a chance that I can still get hit with a copyright claim. That happens, I don't make money off it. So that's the whole reason why there's ads in these videos, but I'm not really doing music. Now, in gameplay videos, I will still do music because that's something I've always done. That's something I enjoy. If that gets copyright claimed, oh well, but these are the videos that a lot of people tend to look at, so I don't really want to get copyright claimed. And on top of that too, I also tend to put ads in these videos as well, because ads is how you get the revenue. Unfortunately, I'm not that big of enough of a YouTube channel to really make that much money, but it can indeed help. But anyways, that's all for this. Again, more of this is going to come soon because I'll go through the elemental one. I'm not so sure how fast my Dark R team will clear ultimate, but it will indeed still clear it. Because Dark is kinda lacking in the attack and defense drop department when it comes to R Kamihime, so yeah, they're more for damage over time in general, if you ask me. But there's definitely some good Dark Kamihime, and there's gonna be more later down the line. So honestly, if you feel like Dark is a little bit too weak, just wait. They'll get a leg up. But again, that's all for now. More is going to come soon, and like I said, not going to do a Ragnarok video for this because you already know. You want more examples? I'm about to post a few more videos with this one, so there you go. But that's all for now, guys. Take care.